A regional politician from Lower Austria wants to limit access to kosher meat based on concerns for animal welfare, animal pain and suffering. He's proposing limiting sales to people who have permits licensed to observant Jews who have to register with the government. The idea came from animal welfare officer and cabinet minister Gottfried Waldhausel, who belongs to the populist Freedom Party, a party that's quite controversial given its history, but says it's a reform, socially aware, conscious, and modern political movement. Now, with me in studio, Martin Weiss. Martin is the Austrian ambassador to Israel. Sir, thank you so much for being with us. I know you've done a lot of interviews in recent days because of this proposal. It's a draft decree.
Yeah.
But certainly, do you understand, I guess, the Jewish community's fear over this, that they would have to potentially register with the government? It harkens back to memories from not that many generations ago of Nazi-era laws having to register with the government.
Yeah, I fully understand those fears, and it sounds completely absurd. And actually, it will certainly not come to that. The background for this proposal was that under Austrian law, typically if an animal is slaughtered, it has to be stunned before it's slaughtered. So this is the general rule of slaughter. But of course, there's an exception because of religious freedom. There has to be kosher and halal meat has to be available. So in those cases, there is no stunning of the animal before the slaughter. So this is the exception to the rule. But in order to have such kind of slaughter, under the law, they have to assess what is the possible demand for such kind of meat in the market.
Why go after, I guess, kosher meat? It must be such a tiny fraction of the overall demand for meat in Austria. And at least according to Jewish ritual law, the butchers, they're trained, they're professional. It's done to minimize pain. They practice for years to make sure the animals lose consciousness quickly, never regain consciousness, don't feel any suffering. It's not more inhumane than any other kind of slaughter.
True, but still, the general rule is stunning animals. Exception is not stunning animals. And under the law, they have to assess how much demand is for this kind of meat. And so for them, that's where he's coming from. He says, okay, how much do we need? And then how can you tell? And so there is the idea, is it the size of the Jewish community, the size of the Muslim community, the number of customers that come to a butcher? So this is kind of the background of this story. But the end of the story will certainly not be a registration. It will be a discussion between the government of Lower Austria and the Jewish community and the Muslim community, and they will come to a solution and find a solution.
But what kind of solution could it be? I mean, at some point, if you need a permit, you have to sign up for it, you have to register.
Yes.
Some say that's simply unacceptable. It has a chilling effect on the religious community to have to register with the government to get your meat.
It will never happen. Okay. What I said, I mean, Vienna has, I just looked it up, Vienna has a very strong kosher infrastructure. It goes from groceries to butchers to supermarkets to pizzerias. Everything is offered kosher. So it will never come to that. The question is just how much demand is there, and I think what will happen is there will be a discussion with the Jewish community, with the Muslim community. Will say, guys, how much is their need? How much do we really need? How many butchers do we really need? Is it enough what we have? Do we need more? Do we need less? And they will agree on a formula, and they will agree without having a registration, which I fully agree is an absurd solution.
Can I ask why now? Why is this on the agenda for animal welfare, this minister now, the cabinet member now? And obviously there are some concerns because of the Freedom Party's history. This is a party with a long history. The modern party, some say, cannot be separated from its Nazi origins. It's strongly anti-immigrant, anti-Jewish origins. It doesn't exist in a vacuum, and there's concerns that this is coming from a Freedom Party member.
Totally right. But there, I think he had a very good line of defense, because he said yesterday when he was confronted with that, and they said exactly like you said, well, why do you come up with that? He said, guys, my predecessor, who came from the Social Democratic Party, he was the one who sent out this letter. I'm just now following in his footsteps, so don't blame this on me. If you want me to step down, ask the Social Democrat to step down just as well. And at the end of the day, no matter where it's coming from, it's a stupid solution to something that has to be, we have to find an answer to, which is the demand for this kind of meat. We'll find an answer outside. And, it has turned to a little bit of a political football where suddenly everybody blames the other, the Social Democrat, the Freedom Party member, and the other way around. I don't think it gets us anywhere. The governor came out yesterday and said, listen, guys, can everybody please exhale for now? We will find a solution in dialogue with the communities. That's where we are.
Martin, as a diplomat, do you think this is perhaps an opportunity, especially for the Freedom Party and for Freedom Party ministers to use this as an opportunity diplomatically for dialogue, to engage with the Jewish community and the Muslim community over this issue?
Absolutely, because it can only be solved in dialogue. We know that are we now registering religious minorities in Austria? Well, certainly not. And exactly as you say, dialogue, and it will be solved in a dialogue, and hopefully Mr. Waldhäusl will be in close contact with the Jewish community, and we have already some indication that this dialogue is beginning now. And
even now, it's a process that's underway.
It's underway, and we have, I think, it will be a couple of weeks, as they say, and then we should have a solution everybody can live with.
All right, could be just weeks away.